Well, morning. Trump may not be happy with this kind of news. After Jerome Powell keeping interest rates stable, without raising them, without lowering them. However, Trump ideology, why he was also seen back, Jeremy saying that he was being threatened by Trump, it was because of lowering interest rates. And Jeremy Powell said, I'm going to be doing things in my own term, as according to the data and according to the analysis I'll be having. Otherwise, I won't be going under any kind of political influence, any kind of ideological favor for any political leader, either Democrat or Republicans, or independents, one or the other. He was doing his levels, the institute independent, one or the other, to make sure that everything is just in normal term. Otherwise, I'm not sure that Trump's really happy with Jeremy's move of keeping interest rates. And just for context to understand, Jeremy doesn't take the final decision, actually. It's the board of the Federal Reserve, the seat of I'm sure, the 5 members, one or the other, 5 to 6 members. To understand what's taking place, we should try to understand that in one or the other, I may agree with Jerome Powell's decision, because in one or the other, we should try to understand today's U.S. economy is full of uncertainty. We're not sure where the economy is heading to. And to make this clear, we shouldn't and actually be looking at the Federal Reserve. We should be looking at the U.S. government and the way how it allocates its funds. I've been saying that for a while, and I will keep saying it for a while, more and more. We should try to understand that politicians are there to make their followers happy, one or the other, but they won't be ready to look at things that are going to hurt their own voters, one or the other. And the actual reality is that the U.S. government needs to look at its U.S. debt, one or the other. And also the U.S. policies and the foreign policies. Because if you look at the way how Trump has been foreign policies, one or the other, it has been really concerning one or the other. Just to break it down, I'm going to just show you the U.S. government expenditure spending that it made for over 2025 fiscal year. Just of 2025 fiscal year, the U.S. collected over $5.2 trillion US and spent over $7 trillion US, while having a deficit of over $2 trillion US. You should try to understand that the government expenditure is one of the biggest conductors of inflation, on the other. You should try to understand, because the more you print money, the more me and you, your savings becoming worthless. They turn out to be useless. We should try to understand that the government spent over $970 billion US in net interest. That's almost $1 trillion just on servicing interest. That's not even the US debt. That's on interest. That means whoever has been loaning the US government, they are earning in interest well. They are pretty doing well. It's good for them, but it's not good for the US economy on the other. You should also try to understand that the government spent over 1.5 billion in social securities and other kind of these are things the government should be spending on one or the other. We should also try to understand, because to function one or the other. But we should also try to understand that the Trump administration has made things to be sour one or the other. It has made also, just imagine Trump attacking Greenland, or trying to make Greenland a 51 state, one or the other. It has made allies almost to start dumping treasuries. Just to understand how that really attacked the U.S. economy. Just for 2025, the U.S. dollar almost lost 10%. But after attacking Greenland, the U.S. dollar lost almost 1.2% just within 5 days. If you have seen it well, you have seen how currencies have been rallying over the dollar and how the dollar has been getting dumped just for over this week. It has just been way insane. Well, for context, the Japanese bonds are shrinking one or the other. Yields are going for over almost 4%. To understand what's taking place, we should try to understand that. That means we are looking at helicopter flights, because if Japanese yields are way attractive for domestic buyers, especially the Japanese citizens, that means you're going to be seeing capital flights from U.S. treasuries, and that's predicted to be almost $150 billion US from the U.S. treasuries to the Japanese bond. Those are capital flights. And we should try to understand that today Japan is the biggest holders of U.S. treasury with almost $1.1 trillion US. However, I don't think Japan will stay looking at the U.S. treasury when see other of its neighbors or European neighbors. Let's say Sweden. Sweden dumped over $8.8 billion US in treasuries, one or the other. Denmark said it's no longer holding U.S. treasuries. Germany today is demanding for over 113 billion US dollars in treasuries. If such factors don't make you alarming, if you think de-dollarization could be, we always bring the de-dollarization to be within the next 10 years, maybe the dollar will be almost worthless. That could be even faster than you could predict it to be. That could be even faster, because Trump attacking his own allies, making them to be like colonies one or the other, making them to be feel like they are losing their independence, making them to look like slaves one or the other. Because I'm not using these words like to make fun on one or the other, but that's how it looks, and that's how it looks to be implemented one or the other. It looks like a behavior that one should try to indicate it has something like someone like acting like a master over others. We will understand that the US is the biggest power among the Europeans. That's why today Europe really needed US to be an ally. However, the differences and the Trump policies that he's implementing, the unfair tariffs he's implementing over these nations, he's acting to them like the way he feels like that he should be taken, maybe like to obey one or the other. These are not terms that should be that are likely to be sit on the table to be negotiated. These are things that I would say that are just put in place. Either you follow it or you don't. Such policies, in one or the other, if you try to understand, have made the US dollar to be dumped. That's why treasuries this week and last week have been getting dumped one or the other. Jerome taking such a move of keeping interest rates stable one or the other. They are still looking at factors why they should be lowering, or why should they be raising? Because right now they are facing uncertainties. If you look at unemployment, because one of the major reasons why the Fed's exist is to maximize employment and keep prices stable one or the other. However, just for 2025, almost 584k jobs were introduced, which made it to be the lowest since 2013 one or the other. We should be expecting Jerome Powell to be looking at in ways of keeping interest rates low one or the other, but we also have inflation. Today inflation is reading around 2.7 with a goal of 2%. I feel like we are going to be way further from that goal, because just to understand what's taking place, if today, to me, as me in person, it doesn't matter either they are raising or not raising interest rates. This is not going to stop the US government from spending or borrowing more. Regardless, all the interest rates are going to be going high and high and high. It won't stop the US government from borrowing. Even if you lower down interest rates one way, you're going to actually impact inflation on there. In fact, I would say I'm okay with the hiking interest rates, but also there will be lots of jobs. In one or the other, the goal is the same. The economy is shrinking and it needs to be revised. If the US government doesn't look on how to break down on these other parties that are kind of not really in need of right now, and sit down to understand how to revise its own economy, it's going to lose allies, it's going to lose what will be understanding. It's going to have a lot of capital flights one or the other. It's going to lose what I will be calling as confidence. Moody, all the big institutes that are responsible for operating the US dollar have been making it strengthen from a triple A to a double A very soon. After these complications between the European allies with the US, very soon you're gonna be seeing it getting rate maybe to A one or the other. Like, it's no longer safe haven as it used to be. Today we are seeing capital flights getting out of the US one or the other. That's why today I'm no longer looking at Jerome Powell's decision that he's taking. Regardless, whatever he does, if the US government or the Trump administration doesn't sit down to break down how the government should be looking at the $38 trillion of debt, how to break it down, how to fight it back, many economists believe this is a trend that does not like you to stop, that has no stop one or the other. Like, he's going down just straight to the end. However, with Jeremy keeping interest rates at this level, I'm not saying he took a bad decision. It's okay. It's an okay decision one or the other. And me and you looking at Jerome Powell, why did he keep interest rates? He should be lowering them. You don't know how inflation that could be one or the other. However, the best way to save the US economy is looking at ways of ending the debt one or the other, breaking it down, how to solve it down, how the government should be looking at it, because They'll be looking at the raising taxes. That's also inflationary. However, the idea of Elon Musk that he introduced one way or the other, it was a better idea in one way or the other. However, the way it was getting implemented, it was making what I would say Republicans look bad one way or the other. And the differences between Trump and Elon Musk, these are all political stands one way or the other. These are all political differences one way or the other. However, the US government, if it cannot make itself into a small government, maybe to break it down into a small government, hope for more inflation. Hope for more inflation. Hope for the US state to be going further and further. And hope for the worst one or the other. Otherwise, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.